I am calling this meeting to order, the Planning and Zoning Commission workshop. Can we have a roll call, please?
Erasmo Guerrero,
Present?
José Tez,
Present.
Carlos Flores,
Present.
Javier Compián, Raúl Ugalde,
Present.
Johnny Narváez,
Present.
Joey Ariel, Daniel Lopez, Jorge Dominguez. For the record, Mr. Sherm, you have quorum.
Thank you. Can we have the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item is discussion and possible action regarding the city's participation in development of neighborhood associations. Since this is a workshop, we're just gonna go ahead and, I guess, interact. I mean, I'll recognize the speakers with ideas and the staff. I don't know if the staff has put together anything on neighborhood associations. I know nobody did any.
We just brought up the same ones that we saw last time, just so we can look further.
Okay,
We were supposed to have community development here, but Mr. Garcia is on vacation.
there's a corpus.
So our intentions was that he was supposed to
Guide
give
us
us
through
some
it.
information.
Okay,
that-
okay.
So pretty much we're gonna establish what department the city can possibly.
Well, I've already talked to Mr. Garcia, and he's in agreement to kind of like take a look at, using this vehicle if this commission chooses to move it forth to the city council for approval. In my conversation with him, obviously, it's twofold. It helps him with neighborhood planning, which is what they're supposed to be doing. And of course, most of the neighborhoods have some form of code enforcement issues that he can also address through his office. So it would be kind of like a win-win for the Department of Community Development and for the community. I think what we are going to be tasked with here is to figure out an outline as to how to form something like this, and then for Mr. Garcia to come back and formally meet with us and discuss whatever ideas he might have as to how his department would be willing to undertake something like this, if the council approves it. With that in mind, I am open to, I know most of you already read the ordinances that were given to us at the last meeting. So y'all have some ideas of what exists, what cities have, and how they put theirs together. I think if we can take from each one of these and formulate something that can help us get started with a plan for neighborhood associations, that would be a good start. So with that, I will open the meeting up to any suggestions or ideas from the commission members.
I want to address something that Mr. Ugalde has been asking about that.
All right?
And I think that the answer to his question is in the first page of this El Paso ordinance, under the purpose of chapter and it's section B. It says that the City of El Paso City Council found and determined that a standardized recognition policy will improve communication between neighborhoods, their residents, the private sector, and the city government on civic matters affecting the livability and character of their neighborhoods. It was their city council's finding that the neighborhood association recognition program would establish a means whereby early identification and resolution of potential conflicts involving neighborhoods, their residents, and the private sector can be achieved. And to me, I think that we should recommend that the city council either adopt our findings and make them their own, or find their own findings, or do something that lets them arrive at that statement for themselves. And then determine how they would best implement it, whether it be some kind of pilot program at first, like where maybe an existing department can propose a recommendation as to a city ordinance, or us recommend a city ordinance that would maybe not have a very large budget number to it, you know? So that it wouldn't be very expensive to do it, and it would be a pilot program that would be more like informational. And we could maybe target like 4 or 5 neighborhoods during the first year. And, you know, go out there and have this person go out and talk to them about what a neighborhood association can do, what it can't do, how they can start it, what resources are available, and then see if, you know, there are people in those 4 or 5 neighborhoods that do it. And if they're able to do it successfully after, let's say, a year or 2, then we could go on and say, all right, we're going to expand this to be citywide, and we're going to hire a person who will be in charge of it, or designate more funds to a particular department that would be the one overseeing it, so that there'd be more resources available for their neighborhoods, you know, and then maybe grow from there with targets. Like, you know, our target would be to, you know, try to maybe open up neighborhood associations for, you know, 10 neighborhoods or something. You know, I don't know what the number would be or how you would arrive at
I
that.
think we can leave the number open, be an open-ended
Yeah.
type thing. I think what we need to look at is the framework. Okay, like what would we consider a number to create an association? What would that number be? Would it be as small as 5? Would it be 10? You know, we have to define that, I think, to be able to say, okay, well, if you've got, I don't know, whatever that number the commission thinks is an appropriate number of citizens in that area that would be willing to come together to do it, then we need to give it a minimum number. Because certainly we can't go with like, okay, well, there's 2 of us and we want to do one. Well, you know, it needs a little bit broader scope to where there's a little bit more involvement from the neighborhood.
Now you want a number of people, a number of households?
People in the neighborhood.
Well, let's look at the city of El Paso's number.
100.
They're persons.
100 persons?
Yeah,
I think 100 is probably too large
it
for
is.
Laredo.
It is. That's why I,
Because their population is like over 700,000. So
And
their
it-
neighborhoods are more,
and see, one of the
Highly
things
populated.
that we're missing right now, and I wish we could have called it up in the GIS right now, is once you can identify neighborhoods, we know exactly what the population of each one is. Because we can get that off of the GIS real quick. But I would say we need to have a number that everybody feels comfortable would be a good minimum number of people necessary to formulate something like this.
So would it be a percentage?
I would say just a number, I mean, because some neighborhoods are gonna be bigger than others, and
well, the good thing is,
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The thing is, let's say you do 50, because it doesn't require you to be a landowner. And it's that the way that El Paso has it, 100 or more persons or entities that own, reside, or have a place of business in the area. So if you have 50, like let's say a small neighborhood is the Azteca. We don't have to get 50 landowners, but we can get, they have 50 business owners, the people that own the little areas there. You have people that rent. And it doesn't even say that only one person per resident, so you can have, for example, multiple people, yeah, husband, wife, or spouses, adult children, you can get something, but the smaller neighborhoods, which are like West Laredo, you have some that are not very densely populated, you want to give them the equal opportunity as you would some of the bigger homeowners associations that are up north or west.
well, I think what we'd be looking at here would be a minimum number that would be required to be able to form an association. Is what I think we
can I
should be
just make one
looking at.
comment before anything you do? The thing that we have to remember is that the neighborhood association is very different from a homeowners association. The homeowners association has certain power, like to tax you, to foreclose on your property. So there, in a situation like that, I could see where you would say, you know, you've got to have a certain percentage of the homeowners in, or all the homeowners in, because, you've essentially given some power away over your property. Here, the neighborhood association, they're not going to have those kind of powers.
Yeah.
Right, so you could have like 25 people form a neighborhood association.
Yeah.
And that could be enough, because at least now you have a vehicle. And so then for instance, when you all send those notices of like zone changes and things like that, you send it to the statutory required people that you have to send it to, that so many property owners around the neighborhood. But then you can also send it to the neighborhood association. And then they can, like, if it's something they think is really important, then they can go knock on doors and say, hey guys, this is a real serious issue. Let's go to the P&Z on this day, and You know, I think it's things like that, you know, or like asking one of the planners to come down for a meeting and say like, okay, guys, this is what this zone change does, and this is like the worries that that it will raise, and that, but now you all have a vehicle where you can go and inform the community, you know? Same thing with like the, what's his name, the city manager, right? Like the city manager could go down and talk to them, you know, and say, look, these are big things that are going on in the city right now. You know, like we're thinking about doing a moratorium on the maquinitas to, you know, study the rules. What do you all think? Oh yeah, we think the maquinitas are terrible, or we think they're wonderful.
Well, but I think going along with what you're saying is that, as it is, we get our agendas emailed out to us every week ahead of time. And in the carbon copy, we have every developer, every engineer that does business, whether they have business on that agenda or not, they get a courtesy copy. And this is an easy way of you, instead of sending one where you carbon copy every person in the city of Laredo,
Yeah.
you carbon copy all the different neighborhood associations where they get noticed. Because one of the biggest complaints we get is, I want to change my house from this to this because the neighbor down the road did it. And then people come in to protest, but we only give notice to people within 200 feet. There's nothing to say somebody that lives 250 feet would be just as equally adversely affected by the zone change. And then they'll come in and say, well, we didn't know, we understand his gripe because neighbor X got the same change, but we weren't here to complain. We're here to complain now. And that's what we usually get, is when people do come in and complain, they're complaining about a zone change that's already been approved before, but nobody complained about it then, but they didn't get notice. And so I think this gives you a centralized distribution where the more people you can get involved in the process in every step of city government, I think is a good thing.
I agree.
And this, I think, allows for that to happen, because it gives us a chance to get, what Carlos was saying, get input from the neighborhood of whether they want that, instead of, what if we get, when we send the notices out, there are some people that don't, they may pick up their mail, but they may not look at it. In this day and age, with people automatic bill pay, certain things, they'll screen and they don't even read the notices, and they'll miss out on something. And so, and that's not an excuse on their behalf, apathy isn't, but it gives you another layer of, we reached out to you one of 4 different ways. And so we want to encourage involvement. So I think this is a good thing in whatever way, in the least restrictive way possible, we should make it and encourage people to do so. Because I think in the same way, there's already a St. Peter's neighborhood association, much in the same vein as this, and they're pretty active, and it's somebody, I think you want that, especially in the neighborhoods, the older neighborhoods.
I agree, and I think also this could be a good vehicle for us to raise awareness and minimize apathy in elections also. You know, because a lot of people, like you said, everybody's so busy with their own little circle that sometimes the neighborhood association would be a venue that all of a sudden reaches out to a whole particular area that without a venue, nobody would really know or really care. I think it's a good vehicle. Now, I guess the key is, in my opinion right now, is we don't want to put a threshold on the creation of an association that is too high to meet. It has to be something, in my opinion, that is kind of easy to get to at least get started. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I would just draw your attention to a couple of things in the El Paso ordinance that I think may answer your questions. They define a civic association as an organized group of 100 or more people. On the second page, letter D, they do define a neighborhood association, means an independent autonomous organization or voluntary association formed by persons within a neighborhood for purposes of considering and acting on issues affecting the livability and quality of their neighborhood. I think that's a fine statement. If you drop down in the same page and you look at A1, the membership of the neighborhood association must be comprised of at least 15 members. That seems like a pretty decent threshold.
Yeah.
It's about halfway down that paragraph.
That's where I was going to head.
I think
And
that's
so I think in some ways, this kind of already provides a really good
Yeah,
framework.
yeah, that
And you
was-
may want to, we may want to go through these sections just kind of quickly and just highlight them and say, yes, we like that, no, we don't, you know, whatever. But here it says membership of a neighborhood association or civic association shall be open to all residents, business owners or owners' representatives, nonprofit organizations representatives, property owners or tenants.
It has a lot of good information in here, so I guess why don't we do this? Why don't we start with the very first basic thing, the definition of a neighborhood association, so that we can all agree on that. The one that's in here seems pretty good to me, but, you know, I don't know what y'all think about that. And I'm talking about the El Paso ordinance.
Right.
But I think if we start with identifying the definition, from there, we can just continue adding to this thing.
I think that we are probably fine with all of the definitions except for A, which is referencing the plan for El Paso, which tells me that's probably their,
The 5 planning areas?
their comprehensive plan.
Right.
So I don't know if we have something like this in our comprehensive plan. Do we have a copy of the comprehensive plan?
We didn't bring it with us.
Yeah. Maybe you can look it up online, maybe you can look it up. Yeah, why don't you see if there's just a definition of, yeah, civic association. But, so that one I think we could probably exclude from the definitions unless we have a comparable definition. And then if you go down to the second page, the letter B, land use application means an application be filed or submitted to the city pursuant to Title 20 and 21. Well, that's specifically their code. So I don't know if we have a similar code section or not. But if we don't, then we can just take that one out. But I think other than that, we would be able to accept the rest of the definitions because they're not tied to either an ordinance or a specific document.
Does it have to go through the city attorney first?
Well, no, he's just saying that we're workshopping what we're gonna ask them to sort of prepare draft, and then we can send it
Right.
to the city attorney
We
and then.
need
from
to
there.
see a prepared draft.
Right.
And let me just say,
Can you, oh yeah, you're doing
So
like
we
a quick
can
search?
highlight the boundaries as well, right? So define the boundaries
yes.
using the map that.
Well, again, we don't know who's gonna participate.
The neighborhood, you can allow them to do it.
Yeah.
The thing is, once they apply, for example, the only drawback you have with the communities that, with the associations that small, is you may get one group of people from one neighborhood. Let's just say St. Peter's. St. Peter's already has one there. Then you get a group that doesn't like what they're doing, comes into the city, we got 15 more, we got 15 different people. We want to make another group for St. Peter's. That's where
There's-
we can say, you know,
There's a section in the ordinance that we're looking
Yeah.
at that says that they can decide which one's
But
gonna take
the city can
boundaries.
force them in
or
the
the city will
Paso, can
decide.
force them to get together, or they can further differentiate saying, St. Peter's East, St. Peter's West.
Yeah, you can define the association's boundaries.
Yes,
That's what you can do.
yeah, when a new application comes in, so
You can have multiple associations within a confined area, whatever.
yes. And so, but that's where the application process puts,
I think what we need
rather
to
than having
do,
redundant groups.
I agree. I mean, that's why to me, getting the definitions done first is a good way to get this thing going.
Well, yeah, and
And
then,
associate, I mean, the neighborhood association definition works. Now, I don't know if we want to add, there's a lot of very good information in here, but I know that when we started this thing, we wanted to try to keep it simple and maybe a 1 or 2 pager. You know, something that we can just at least get started, because you can always work on these things as this thing continues to go on.
well, one thing that we can do to simplify it, just looking at this El Paso one, is that
Yes.
they have two different things. They've got a neighborhood association and they have a civic association.
Yes, they do.
So unless that search pulls up civic association, maybe one way to simplify it is we're not even gonna deal with civic associations.
I agree with you.
And just
I
do
agree.
neighborhood associations.
Johnny, you okay with that?
Yes.
Johnny's okay too?
So you just basically start
All
off,
right, so let's say we're gonna do away with letter A.
Yeah, I think
Delete.
letter A and letter B.
And letter B too, because it doesn't, we don't wanna go there yet. Right. Delete. All right?
Yeah.
The neighborhood definition, you okay with that?
Yeah, everything
All we
else
gotta
is
do is
good.
just change it to the city of Laredo?
As soon as we're done, and I'm leaving you.
Neighborhood, and then neighborhood association is good too, C, D are good. I don't think we need E at this point.
I would say no E or no F
I
at this
agree.
point.
Yeah, I agree.
No,
at
no,
this
no, no,
point.
no. F is how you
Oh,
recognize
F
it.
is what you become
Yeah,
once you're
yeah,
registered.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So C, D, and F?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, guys,
no, no, F you
I'm-
need- you
I'm
need
making
F.
edits, and I'll give you all my edits, okay?
Okay,
Okay. All right, so
Okay.
then let's go now to the next statute, or the next provision.
let's go to criteria for recognizing of the neighborhood association, period. And we'll scratch out civic association, all right?
Yeah.
Letter A, to get this designation, number one is good, unless y'all want to make some changes to that number one. Letter A1,
Yeah, that's good.
I'm good with one.
all right,
with
so
the-
that's
yeah.
good. Boundary, this is a good one.
Number two, I would ask to delete everything after the boundary of a civic association up until,
No smaller than 4 square blocks.
I'm sorry. Up to the city clerk, period?
I want to say two planning areas, because that's the bigger one. It's like the third.
Oh, yeah, it's the boundary of.
The boundary of a civic association that is applying for status. Like since we're leaving out the civic association at the beginning.
Do you want to leave in there no smaller than 4 square blocks?
Yes.
Okay, but hold on,
Neighborhoods
guys.
that don't have blocks.
Oh, no, everything, like sentence 1 and 2 is fine. Sentence 2 is a very long sentence.
Yeah.
Sentence two where? I lost my place.
Yeah, really what you were looking at is where the paragraph starts with the boundary of a civic association.
It's line 6.
That is applying,
Yes.
take,
I have a
Everything after, almost everything after that is more for civic association.
Nathan, does this?
okay, the only thing there that I would say is, if you look at the very last line on there, where it says the boundaries of any recognized neighborhood association in existence prior to 12.
That's fine.
But it doesn't, I mean, this is something that we can either say leave, or it doesn't have to
We
be
don't have
there.
any recognized
We don't have any.
associations.
We
We don't
don't.
have any,
We don't.
Well, wait a minute, we
That's
have
a
St.
that's
Peter's.
basic,
but it's not recognized by
but
the city.
they're not recognized.
There is no ordinance, so we don't need any of this stuff.
So, but I have a question though for the first part of two. Nathan, does the city have a neighborhood's boundary map that's been adopted? And that's on, like with the clerk, filed with the clerk?
No.
Okay, so then we have to
But-
take that out.
Hang on a second. There is a neighborhood boundary map out there that the chairman was telling me about that was created years back.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
an old one.
Before you kick that out, maybe we should do that.
Better
inquiry
research
with
to see if there's an
CD and
ordinance there.
If we can't find
It
it,
goes back to probably 1970,
Well,
when
we-
model cities came in.
if we can find it, then we can use that and,
Yeah.
modify it, and that way we don't have to start from ground zero.
Yeah,
Because I know that we had the same problem of identifying the neighborhood when we were doing, the,
Okay, so here,
mail out for the heights.
here's the edits that I have for that then. Consistent with the city's neighborhood boundary map,
I gotta go.
or,
Oh, sure. It's a Tammy.
um,
I'm sure there's gonna be some.
what's the word I had? I'm sorry, I lost it. Or,
It's equivalent.
it's equivalent.
no. Equivalent's not the
Period.
correct word.
Huh?
Not the correct word.
Why?
Because if you have an existing, and if you don't have an existing,
Uh-huh.
then you gotta,
How about
you
search
need
of
another
this
word that kinda
association?
says, okay, now we need to define.
Yeah, but let me give you an example, okay? Let me give you an example. Like, I live in Ghost Town, right?
Yeah.
Ghost Town is split by, Clark.
Doesn't make any difference.
No, but hold on, but listen, it's split by Clark, right? So the issues north of Clark may be different from the issues south of Clark.
That's understood, but that's
Couldn't
where.
they be two neighborhood
They
associations?
could.
There
yes.
could.
Okay.
Yes.
We're not, the idea is not forcing Ghost Town stuck with one association.
Right.
Okay.
The idea is that though, if the one association south of Clark,
Uh-huh.
and then there's another one south of Clark, you know what, you really
Ghost
do,
Town,
it's the
Ghost
same
Town
issue.
South, Ghost Town North.
Yeah,
association.
there can be two in there, but
Can-
the
can
whole
we-
area.
Can I make a motion to rename that neighborhood Flores?
No, sir.
We're not.
Okay,
And-
I tried.
From 5
I tried.
to 7 in homeowners.
But no, that's the whole idea of making them come.
I mean, I wish
That-
they would've
that's- That's what we just.
Found
were
the
talking
map.
I bet you we can find it online.
I was looking for.
If you look on
Are you?
Google's map, it has the names of all the.
Every neighborhood, we had it back
La
then.
Riera defined, Catarrana, it had all those neighborhoods.
All the, el
defined,
Cuatro, el
different colors,
Tonto,
yeah.
¿qué era? El Puente Blanco,
Can't get a purpose, but
Los
different.
Amores,
What's the matter?
No,
la X.
I can't remember, I want to, it's either Google Maps or Yahoo Maps has them there where, but it doesn't have like the boundaries, it just says.
Probably gonna be,
this area
Google.
is.
There you go.
Let me think.
Google,
What would they have titled?
What are you trying to do?
It would have probably been,
I'm trying to work.
That's what's
Sir, that's
scary.
only for city staff, sir. For citizens,
Barrios.
said don't touch.
What's he looking for?
is it Laredo Barrios?
Laredo neighborhood maps?
Maybe, I'm guessing.
Here it is.
No, that's not it.
No.
No, that's a district map.
It's the districts, okay.
This.
No, I don't think you're gonna see it. It's not on the city website right now.
No, you
It's
gotta
not
look
on-
at it
It's
on
not on
the
the GIS
actual
that I
website.
remember
If
either.
I can get it in 5 minutes, like,
You would have sped up this meeting quickly.
okay, I'm gonna get it for you all. Just give me 1 second.
All right, I mean, that to me is critical,
Okay, hold on.
because it helps us in our planning.
This is what I do, people. I solve problems for them. Give me a second.
Hola, vamos a dar un second.
Do you guys have access to emails from that computer?
No.
Not that I know of, no.
Okay, hold on.
Le está hablando
What is it that you're looking for?
a un señor que ya murió.
But
Hizo
is
el
there a
mapa.
specific map? you're
Yeah.
looking
I've seen it. I have it,
Oh,
actually.
it's
for? If you have it in front,
already
you can put it on the,
Eh?
Projector.
yeah,
5:30.
you can put it on the projector and we'll tell them to put it
The
on.
planning has it, county,
Oh, the county.
Jorge.
Okay, hold on.
This
I'm
is-
sure we can get it.
This is on the, she's in a board meeting right now, right?
Hmm?
She's in a board meeting right now?
Can I step out to take a call?
Yes, go right ahead and we'll
Very
pause while you
unprofessional,
take a
sir, it's
call.
very unprofessional for you, taking personal calls in the middle
No,
of
I'm
the
trying to get us the map.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who he would call. No, no sabe
Okay,
nada.
so I have boundaries, I have minimal members. The city liaison can be CDC.
This is,
They're gonna have to establish bylaws and regulations, right?
like I said, let's not make it too complex, because then you're gonna have people walk away. Let's
So just call it rules. We need
just,
some kind of rule.
some kind of,
Governing-
let's just see
You
here.
just have to have basic rules that they cannot discriminate against each other based on race, religion, whatever, there's a catch-all there.
Yeah, it's
You
something,
need,
yeah.
you need at least a method of election officers on a regular
Well,
schedule.
those are bylaws.
You need a term limit,
You need structure. Right, that's all.
Quorum.
There it is. And a way for the city to recognize them, right?
maybe by number 3 may be okay. Yeah.
The responsibilities of recognized neighborhood associations. So here the city is requiring them to have at least one meeting a year
With the city,
with the city?
yeah.
Yeah, they can have it all.
Give me 5 more minutes, guys. I'm almost there.
Do you have one? I have one. No, sorry.
That map, I think Andy has it.
I don't know, I haven't seen it.
Where'd Art go?
Hmm?
Art, where did he go?
I have no idea.
Minnesota?
I think Andy has it. It's saved somewhere in your server there, for sure.
Somewhere.
Yeah, just search for neighborhood boundaries.
We'll ask
Because
Andy.
that was given to Danny Peña, he used to work at the county. And then I printed it out from the county, I used to work at the county planning department. And then I gave it to NeighborWorks.
We'll ask Andy and see if he can pull it for us. But just right now, it's.
Because I believe it's not registered with the city.
Yeah, it's informal.
The physical map is still at NeighborWorks. But, I mean, what's that, we need it digital, we need it,
But the thing is that it's not recognized rights. It's not something that's.
yeah, but we could
recorded.
recognize it. They could recognize it. That is, they need something to see, they need a template.
It's the start of it.
Check that.
So, like, all the ones that don't have the system. These are the ones that are gonna be left.
Es que yo lo he visto, parece que en el Historic Preservation Cabinet we had.
I know. It's not, it's not part of the discussion.
But yeah, I mean, you go sleep at 12, she had 3 hours when they're up, you're waking up, yeah. This is, I gotta get it done. Everyone's enjoying this trip.
We should have. They're gonna be snacks. I'm leaving. I'm going to be leaving. She's like, okay, guys. No, you're not. No, you're not.
We used to have.
We know you're not. Fernando, we're leaving. We're leaving. He wants us to go to another meeting.
That's exactly right.
No.
Tell me for text. From right now, from 5 to 7.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
No, I'm serious.
Okay, fine, I have it.
Really?
Can we send it to a department and have it printed out?
No.
There's nobody over
Everyone's
3530,
gone.
bro.
Yeah.
I'll find a place.
there. It's at 5.
You know how big that map is, right? You need a plotter.
Well, I've got it here.
Let me
Put
see.
it on the
Just put it
projector.
on the projector.
Yeah, but you won't be able to.
Raise your brightness.
Oh.
Like, it's not gonna print on 8.5 by 11, like, it's like
Yeah, but I mean.
24 by 36.
No, but I mean, obviously, like everything else, you know, you look at it, that's, you know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
you removed it.
What it is, what I'm getting at is,
Because
Can I come here? Okay, I'm gonna email it to my Gmail account.
I don't know if it'll open your Gmail account.
It'll block
Probably
it.
not. Everything's blocked.
yeah, from there we can.
So
There's no way around it.
Remember,
yeah,
we
you
have
need
a
to
lot
put it
of
in the projector.
restrictions.
That's the
But it's
best.
gonna be tiny though.
But you can zoom in
Yeah.
from the
You can zoom in
projector.
on your phone and on the projector.
Just
Okay.
hide all your pop-ups and then just put it under the thing there.
What are you trying to say? Like Daddy said.
That's what I'm
I
gonna
don't
do.
want to connect my phone.
Yeah.
Super
I
true.
go on and on, but just, there's some things that that's for life.
Okay, I got it, guys.
And a boy.
I'm just trying to figure out a way to,
Well, you can export it and we can print it. Do y'all have a printer here?
Not here.
if,
I think it's a large map.
Well, they got printers that can do large maps. We just have to take it to their planning department and get it done and come
what
back.
is the,
We don't have access
That's
to
all.
plot. It needs to be from GIS. So GIS needs
What's
to
the
send.
password for the?
We promise. We
Okay.
don't have that access.
So, who, Arturo?
We can only see it.
Yeah, now it's Rudy.
Rudy?
has to.
Why do you need a Wi-Fi password? You don't have enough
I don't know, it's not,
Data
it's
or
not letting me go
data plan? Up.
Well, where did you find it?
Look at it right here.
But, I mean, what,
Where did you get?
is it a city record
Email it to me.
or is it
Email it to
somebody
me so I
made
can
it?
Open it on my phone. Mine works.
Why do you have to be so condescending?
You don't realize that he has like an endorsement contract with unnamed cell phone carrier.
Yeah, you don't know that.
Enrique.
I still have data of that company. Come on, man, you're still on analog.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds.
Done.
The only ones that we have is this, mira.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Let me write the ordinance. Let me wait, Chinga.
Didn't pressure.
You should.
Vienen los historic districts. y
What, is it not
proposed
downloading?
local
Not
proposed.
downloading.
Y tenemos los conservation districts.
The neighborhood is not down.
That's
Not
it.
downloading?
I'm connected to.
Email it to me.
It's
It's a large map, right? It's a large file?
Oh.
It's gonna take a long
Is it
time.
from the historic preservation plan that you're getting it?
I'm getting it from a friend of mine named Sevis.
Is,
Fine.
I don't know if those are, do
Again?
you wanna look it up over here?
Juan Sebastián.
But are you talking about the
What?
historic districts?
That's why I'm
You're gonna
asking.
have it stored.
Because of,
They're gonna
yeah,
have
we
it.
can.
The historic, I have
Easy
them
or
here.
something.
Look, we have those.
Okay, let me see the map.
Proposed local historic, but first I want to tell you the ones we have in that
Oh,
document.
those are,
You see,
that's historic.
like conservation district boundary map and the historic district map, the proposed and the current ones.
And is it one map with all of them?
It's not,
Doesn't the comprehensive plan have it?
No.
No, this one is different.
Which is that map? Two?
the ones that I'm talking about is on the historic preservation plan,
On the historic?
preservation plan. It's.
Okay, but that one's only gonna identify the neighborhoods within the historic areas, right?
No, it has proposed historic districts and conservation districts, boundaries. that
Is
they-
it, is
they
it
were
mostly
never-
the older parts of town?
Mhm.
Oh,
Correct.
that's the one that probably, what's your name did?
That's why I'm asking.
¿Cómo
if
se
that's the
llamaba?
one-
What was the name of that historic, huh?
Nina?
Nina.
Ana Nixon Mendez.
Is that the one who did it, right? I'm gonna guess it was Nina who did it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think she got a lot of input off of that CD map. Is that, are you seeing that right now? You're looking for it?
I mean, it's within the document. I'm just
Okay,
searching on that
okay.
document.
Well, hopefully you can retrieve it, because that would be a big help. Until Carlos can come through and,
Oh, I'll come to the zone.
You said 5 minutes.
but we're at 7.5 minutes.
Let me see, is that the one?
I need water, hold on.
Let's continue on it. I'm just gonna go ahead and,
I'm not
There's
working
no
here.
more, oh,
This is just one item.
inside, we're out.
You gonna do that?
So we'll try different ways to get that map, but I think I'll get a hold of it. I know Neighborhood still has the physical map. The printer.
Should we keep going through the ordinance while he
Mhm.
looks through?
yeah, we're on page 4 now. Page 3 is good, just knock out civic associations on 2.10, 2.040.
Keep everything, the appeal process and all that? and your
Well,
report of
hold on,
compliance.
I mean, permit official within 14 days of,
Yeah.
trying to think out this 14-day
For example,
approval
this is the
process.
proposed cuatro.
I changed it 30 days?
No, I'm trying to think, do we really need to put a mandate on
I mean, they're-
how many days on permit?
Yes,
Oh, I
they're
think
not-
so.
they're not just ones.
Yeah, I think
But they're
so.
not recognized.
What if they have something that they
Yeah,
want to do?
historic
and-
district heights.
They still haven't been recognized. It's basically.
Here's the deal, here's the deal.
They have to organize the proposed,
Okay, once we get the ordinance, if the ordinance passes council,
because there's another one.
then the department that is designated, which would be probably CD, will have 14 days.
They have proposed neighborhood.
Okay, hold on. These neighborhood associations, they're just structured, they're.
The permit official will, within 14 days of the filing of a completed regulation.
Can we open this?
14 calendar days.
Deny the recognition. What are they talking about, 2.102, 2.102? Fail, okay. Okay, well, yeah,
So
that-
going back to page 3, on the filing, the application.
Mhm.
So name of the neighborhood or association, we just scratch off anything that says civic association.
Just scratch out civic association,
Yes.
yeah.
2 members of the neighborhood, okay, or civic. Yeah.
Well, so I guess we do need to give it a time frame on which they need to work
do
on the
30 days.
application.
That's more, yeah.
30 days might be more of a reasonable standard. Wait a minute,
This is just so the city can recognize,
let's
right?
go 21 days, which
They
stays,
have 14 days to make a decision whether they want to approve or deny,
yeah.
or.
Appeal the process,
Appeal.
No,
If they deny
the
it,
appeal
yeah.
is if they deny
if
it.
they get denied.
Why don't we do 21 days? Because 21 days is also consistent with the building permitting system.
Okay.
What page are we on, I'm sorry?
We're on page 4. Let's do 21 days on letter C instead of 14. Doesn't, within, yeah, that's fine.
And it also says that if they appeal, they have 14 days after the decision to.
Well, that's, the 14 days,
That one's
the
fine?
appeal is good.
Okay.
That's fine. That one's fine.
So I think the rest of number, page 4 is pretty standard.
Yeah.
How about the annual
Okay, well,
report?
let's send
Okay,
it to you.
hold on. At the very end of this, the annual report, yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Is it this one?
Let's see. No.
No, it's a large file, right? So you might not be able to print it and just ready to print it, man.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, put it up there on the, on,
But you won't be able to see it because it's so small.
Those are men.
Okay,
You
but
can
no,
zoom
but
in.
it's like really, really small.
oh, we can use our computers to upsize it maybe somewhat without distortion.
They.
Here's an example though, here's an example.
Yes, sir, that's
That's
it.
it. Oh,
That's the
that's
one,
it.
yeah.
Zoom up?
Zoom out?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. Yeah,
Because all the new stuff is not included.
no, this was the old areas.
Go to the
yeah.
heights.
This is the one.
Why do you want to go to the heights? That's extremely elitist.
Ahí está, Las Lomas.
Because
Some of
this
Las Lomas.
is grid pattern. I want to see something that's not grid pattern as much. So just go.
All the order parts of town are grid pattern.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's how good cities are formed by
Yeah.
grid
From
pattern.
Western Divisions. is good.
Es que the heights and Las Lomas, there's,
Oh, there's Ghost Town.
yeah.
That's where you live, a small
Near your
little
heart.
market.
I live
Los
in the
Town
projects.
then butts 3 points just like I thought. This is very good,
Thank you.
very good. Now we just need to get this printed. Can you guys,
We
Yeah.
need to find it.
You can,
ourselves.
you
Well, it's a
can email it
PDF,
to
it's
me.
not.
it's a PDF file.
Email it.
Okay.
Go up. So after that, there's no
Any-
neighborhood.
what
defined.
else, sir?
Actually, he can airdrop it to you if he,
You can airdrop it to all of us.
yeah.
You know how to do
No,
that,
I don't
Carlos?
think I can. I feel very nervous with that.
I airdropped the wrong stuff. Be careful.
I don't airdrop anything to anybody. Okay, what else, guys?
Which is Las,
That's
San
no
si
lot.
puedes.
Yeah, but the easy thing though is everything outside of that is also already has for the most part has neighborhood.
Look at the
names
beautiful
anyway.
names of our
I
neighborhood.
think
San Si
everything
Puedes.
outside
Right
of
up,
that is a
right above there, you have
That's a
Retama,
beautiful name.
just north of there, you have like
San Si Puedes.
Chaparral, the base, so like, all the new ones already
the
have
subdivisions
neighborhood, for the
already have
most-
names.
Yeah,
And the
Yes, sir.
subdivisions
you have
have
Del Mar C, you have Del Mar
A.
A, B, you have Dominion, you have
Yeah.
Winfield.
Everything else is already
So then
identified.
we need to assign someone and planning to
From
improve
CD.
on this map.
From CD.
Okay, are y'all done with this? Do y'all need it?
Airdrop it to us.
Drop it all the way, hey, take it all the way down to the city limits, on the south. Let me see what you got in the very bottom.
Oh,
Okay,
the
the
south
south.
has more neighborhoods now.
I don't, but the south, you really only have.
El 13, me olvidé del 13. A
No,
ver.
that's it. It only goes to
El
this one here.
Tonto, el Rincón
Okay,
del,
go.
el Rincón del Diablo, wow.
That's as low as it goes? There you go.
LAX.
Chacon,
Santo Niño.
Santo Niño, and that's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Okay,
Boy,
okay,
this is-
now,
this is
but like you said, there's other subdivisions now that,
But those
That'll
are
be-
subdivisions, right?
that'll be easy.
Yeah,
Those
but that's not what
subdivisions-
they're called.
Those subdivisions can be cut
This
up.
is Eastern Western Division. That doesn't have a subdivision.
Yeah, this is Eastern Western Division, that's exactly right, yeah. This is great, this is the map that I was talking about.
Good job.
May I take my seat now, Chairman?
Yes, sir, you did a very good job, we want to commend you.
Thank you, sir.
Took you a little longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
13 minutes.
Hey, 13 minutes.
Okay, let's go ahead and continue, we're now on page,
4 at the bottom, the annual.
the annual report shall be filed with the permit office no later than June 30th of each year.
I'm not gonna.
So should we change that to
was
calendar year, like new year?
Well, it just depends when they form.
What was that?
The very last sentence on page 4.
On page
So
four.
why
On
did
the
you
annual
choose June 30?
report-
Why
The
did you
annual
choose
report shall be filed with
mid-year?
permit official no later than June 30th of each year. Our fiscal year ends in September.
Yeah,
Because
Maybe that's why.
we submit biannual reports that are due on this date. That might be it.
on June 30th?
Yes, we submit biannual reports and then annual reports for commissions and boards. So I'm assuming this will follow under the same.
Okay. So that
We're
accepts.
good.
We need to look at all these sections and see what they are.
What is number 2?
So who would be responsible for doing this compliance report? Or in other words, who would be responsible for overseeing that the compliance report is filed?
It goes back to the permit officer,
Up to who?
the permit officer, which would probably in this case be somebody in community development.
Okay.
And again, like I said, at this point, it's an assumption that he did give me that he was interested in sort of doing this thing. But until I talk to him face to face, and this whole commission can, have him up here indicating that he would be, responsible for this. And then obviously that, once the ordinance gets defined, in the ordinance, it would identify the department that would be responsible for this particular, overseeing the neighborhood association. Which I think arrested with responsibility or something.
I think the only thing would be, what would be, how do you all decide the numbering system for this?
What do you mean?
Like, you know how this has like
Sections.
2.10, 2.050? How would you all decide what numbers you use? Because like, for instance, like you look at the recognized association shall, and then A, and then it's referencing to.
We can, I'll tell you what we can do is we can keep the numbering system very simple. This is very elaborate. It doesn't need to be that elaborate. I would just say, if we just, like their numbering system starts up here with a, and the reason their numbering system is like that, because it references their code of ordinances from the city of El Paso, okay?
That's what I'm saying, what would we do here?
Well,
Code of ordinances. Okay.
I need-
Do you just go to the next number of whatever's next?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so you guys will
category they
figure out
fall
the
in.
numbering of it?
well, it depends, because if we're gonna put an ordinance in, the City of Laredo ordinances, it has to follow a certain format in which chapter it's gonna belong into.
What chapter would it belong in? Do we know?
I don't remember right off the top of my head. We'd have to look at the Code of Ordinances to see what chapter would come in under,
Can I see?
because it has to come in under a certain chapter. And I don't recall right off. I mean, you have to look at the Code of Ordinances to see what. And then the numbering can be correspondent to that, whatever that Code of Ordinance number is, it could be. Or it could be a standalone ordinance too. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the code. No, it has to be in the Code of Ordinances if it's gonna be a valid document.
Page three,
We are on page 5.
to your left. Right there. No, one more down. Yeah,
Next one, Code of Ordinance.
Right there.
I wasn't sure you were talking to me or not. Okay, so would it fall under alcoholic beverages? Subdivision regulations?
No,
Sorry.
Zoning? No, but that's a planning.
no.
No.
Subdivisions, below zoning, go down.
Is there a zone? No, but that's an appendix. I don't think that's an ordinance. It's like an appendix to an ordinance, I think.
Under boards.
No, I think it would be. I'm gonna start from the top again, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well, it's going.
What's in general provisions? Hold on. Okay, this is just how you construct, okay. Maybe planning? Would it fall, no?
Community development.
But okay, but what is what is the code section that community development oversees? Do we know?
I don't think it's gonna
Can you
be,
go up?
Oh, you know what? Can you Google the city of El Paso to see where their
the Code of Ordinances.
where their ordinance is located?
Okay, and theirs, it's an administration and personnel in El Paso. It's in their heading. Title
Administration
2
and
under administration and personnel.
So then it would be chapter 2. And then it would be
Under boards and commissions, where is that?
right here.
Article 5.
There you go.
So that's where they have it?
That's what, yeah.
Okay,
Well,
huh?
Title 2 is the administration and personnel of their Code of Ordinances, so that's where it would come in. But it'd have to be under boards and commissions, I think. Well, wait a minute.
Well, there I am. I'm on boards and
Etc.
commissions there. You see where I'm at?
Huh?
You see where I'm at?
Yeah?
Okay, and then there's,
Well, they say all the boards that are created, keep going.
well, hold on one second, guys. Hold on. Let me think. Hold on. I'm just gonna click on this to check something. Okay, why don't we do a Division 6?
Oh, that's what it would have to be.
Yeah, Division 6.
It'd have to be,
So it would be Division 6, and then let's go to the last number here. The last number is 249, so it would start off 2.250. Oh, no,
no. I mean, you have 242 to 249 reserved,
Yeah, but for this,
so you can,
so no, you go to the next one, 250.
because basically there's nothing in 242, okay?
Yeah,
And
but
you got-
you know, that's for them to expand Fine Arts and Culture Commission.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
That's for anything in the future.
Oh, okay.
That's why that's reserved, okay?
Okay.
So it could technically fall under here by just adding, let's say, section 242. And then they would have to just amend and say, 243 to 249 is still reserved.
Yeah.
That gives you a lot of additional space or growth.
So what would be the numbering system you?
I would use 242.
Okay.
But in
Section
division,
2242.
Division six,
Division
that's
six.
for fine arts and culture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Division six
Okay.
should be 250.
No, then we need to give it it's gotta be a totally new heading. It's gotta be Division 6,
250.
and it would be,
2.250.
I don't know, is there a 2.50 already?
There's no Division 6.
But what comes after?
We'll start, yeah.
Yeah, look, investment, let's see, investment policy, you're saying?
But that is
That is
Article 6.
2.0.
Oh, yeah, he's right.
There's already a,
Yeah, there's already a 250.
so I would go ahead and go back and look at doing probably Division 6, 242.
Division
And
6, 242.
Here is, again, we're gonna have to throw this back to the legal department here, let them,
Yeah,
Yeah,
But-
but just to give them a sort of
of course,
a sort of like a.
if we can give them a draft of what, yeah.
Yeah, let them figure it out.
This is your,
Yeah, you walk down with it. You walk down.
Okay, guys, what else?
So we're okay with the provision shall prohibit the officer, an officer from any neighborhood association or serving an officer of a civic association.
Where you at?
Amend D,
Off what page?
page 5.
So we don't have a civic association, so there wouldn't be a conflict.
Yes. We'll take all that out, right?
Yes, we can take D out. Yeah, so we would take out D.
Any officer, okay, so. So we're not allowed to serve as an officer in any other association?
Well, no, it's, they're prohibited from,
It's in the second sentence.
yeah, you're right.
So do we take it out or?
We leave the first sentence, but we take out the second sentence.
Leave out the first two sentences, include the first two sentences.
Yeah, right.
And take out. this
Where it
pro-
says this provision.
Yeah, take all that out, okay.
Page 5.
So what if somebody wants to be an officer of the Ghost Town South?
Like me, for
I
instance?
would tell you, let's just leave that in, take it out for now and we'll deal with it later, because I don't see anything wrong, like if you're on the association for Ghost Town, but then you're also on the association for
Yeah, I don't see anything
Chaparral,
wrong with
because
that
that's
either,
one's where
yeah.
you work
But I
and
would be,
one's,
oh, yeah, good point.
one's where you work and one's where you live, and
Yeah, I don't see
either
anything wrong
one,
with it,
like, I think that's something we can deal with as we go, like, let's
Let's get the baby growing first.
let's keep this as short as possible.
Yeah,
I think if you're going to have a meeting where you have to meet with the city and all the existing associations, I don't know, there's going to be like one representative that represents
No,
several
but,
associations.
I mean, it just,
So let's just take out D
No, but if
altogether.
I have a place of business downtown and I I belong to a particular association there, and then
there is a downtown, there's a downtown business owners association, they have a group of people that advocate on their behalf, and none of them live downtown, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to speak as a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
downtown business.
or be an officer in that association.
I mean, we, once again, we want involvement.
Okay, so let's take D out then.
Yeah, I think.
For now, I mean, I think it's an issue will come up, but we can deal with that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, take it all out. That's it for page 5?
mm-hmm.
So guys, just for point of reference, wherever it's highlighting other sections, I guess try to match it with what.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
keeping up with that.
And if you want to send it to me beforehand, I'll review it if you
Yeah,
want.
of course.
I think I'm good with everything on page 6.
Is 2 weeks in advance enough for letter I, for the city, for city council representative?
See, notify the permanent official. Yeah, because the law states any public meeting is 14 days advance notice.
So it's-
You gotta have, yeah,
so 14 days.
yeah. I think page 6 is all good, like Carol said. Get the Civic Association, I see.
Let me know when you guys are on services available.
I'm there.
Okay, I think we should take out B. I think that's gonna be difficult.
I agree with you there, because that's what I was gonna.
I'm all
Can we
for,
just
I'm,
leave
I'm
best
all,
efforts?
I'm all for a newsletter, but I don't want to task the city with having to do it.
I agree.
I think it's too much work.
100% agree.
And we live in the time of the internet now where most of the information, maybe what we could do is instead of that, maybe,
I can have an online newsletter.
like have an on, like maybe
Annual.
help online services or something.
Annual.
Huh?
Annual instead of quarterly?
What?
Not be too much information for when.
No, but you know what, guys? Nobody even uses the on internet anymore for that websites. Everyone uses
Can I just
Facebook.
make a recommendation? Can we just get this up and going and then if this gains traction, let them figure out what is best? Like say, hey, look at these frameworks, these requirements. What do you guys think is feasible or is realistic?
I
Because-
think, once you get it going, I agree with you. Most people are gonna communicate using email in their neighborhoods. And let them figure it out.
It's gonna be on Facebook. Everything's gonna be on Facebook. I have a change to C2.
Okay.
On
If
C,
you get rid of that, then you have to get rid of the technical assistance on newsletter preparation.
that's what I did. But everything else I kept.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Just to mandate the city to,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, now let's look at D here. Let's take a look at D.
Well, these are actual services that are available to the association from the city. This is an important
No, no.
section.
Well, letter D, at the very bottom here, it says, written notice to the official representing recognized neighborhood association regarding any land use application submitted to the city.
So it's like he
Like
said.
a zoning.
Yeah, but that's at the beginning. That notice D is when they get the application from day one, not when it's like us getting it from planning and zoning. That's what I see that saying.
Mhm.
Like you.
Maybe we can reword it
When
to
citizen
say-
A goes into the office
Mhm.
over there on Washington and says, I want to change my property from a B1 to a B2.
What stage do you send the notices to the
By
neighbors?
state law, we have to send them 10 days prior to the meeting.
Maybe we should just reword it to show what.
All you gotta do
we
is
have.
just send what it says there, the bare minimum is, as soon as you get an application,
Send a notice.
you send notice to the neighborhood
That doesn't
association so they can
necessarily
be
mean
involved.
what's gonna be going to, on the agenda.
All you gotta do is just change it, you can change it from written to electronic.
I think we should do it 10 days before the thing goes to a meet, like the same
The same
that you do.
procedure
Yeah.
that we have now.
Yeah, that way you
Just
do it
add
one
the
time.
association,
Mhm.
that whomever is in charge of the association,
Yeah.
add that letter.
Yeah. So how do we modify it?
Okay, hold on. Let's think this out a little bit here. Okay, now let's think about this. Let's assume that another department is the one that's in charge of this,
Oh, yeah, that's.
okay? So
Good
let's,
point.
let's make sure that we can have that communication, because always the communication gap is really what sometimes causes problems, So we need to really think this one out here and how,
I don't think it's that complex, actually.
it's not.
You know why?
The problem is humans.
No, but it's not that complex, I'm gonna tell you why. Because they're gonna have a list of the neighborhood associations, this department will.
Supposed to.
So let's say, yeah, well, let's just say, right? You have the list, so you know, hey, this is gonna be in the Heights.
Yeah, but here's where I'm coming from. Let's assume there's a change in the director of that association. Let's assume there's a change in the address. And for whatever reason, if that didn't get communicated or changed, you know what I'm saying? Now the notification goes to where it may not be viable. I mean, you know what? Let's not even worry about that. Let's just go ahead and start with it for right now, and then we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, but the only thing,
Just
the only
let it go.
change is, the only change is
Let it
just.
Erasmo, all you really gotta do, I think, is we gotta send an electronic communication to the head at the time that we receive the application. What they do, like, so they are involved early on. We don't have to give it
Yeah,
written.
let's just get it
first class.
started. Let's just get it started.
Just
Yeah.
get it started, just
Let's
say,
get it
like, we
started.
just send them,
Yeah.
send them whatever courtesy email, the same
That's
way everybody else gets it.
Let's just get it started. Yep, that's it.
First class
Now,
letter is just
like-
the mail, right?
I'm sorry?
That just seems like that.
First class letter is just the mail, right? No, it's not certified, it's just the mail,
Regular mail.
regular mail.
Certified
No, first
No,
class
it's
is
just
regular mail.
first, yeah.
as regular
mail.
40-cent mail, but you gotta be careful with that, because then you start dealing with the register, if you say registered.
What do we wanna do, just via
Just
electronic
email,
mail?
Just an electronic notice when the application comes in.
Okay, I'm gonna change the.
Do, where it says electronic notice or written mail,
Electronic
Yeah.
mail,
okay? Either or.
electronic mail or first class mail. That's gonna be at the last sentence in D. I think we should take out letter E.
No, we have to. That would just be too burdensome right now.
I think we should also take out F.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It's for the commission.
Not written.
I don't think we should take out F.
But that's a lot of information, that's
No,
95%.
hold on, because one of the reasons we're an association is for them to get wind of a proposed thing coming in,
Zone changes or.
or a development.
Yeah.
I think
need this.
every agenda should go to every association.
Association has.
The only part I disagree with is the written notice, because we don't even get written
No,
notice.
I agree. It just has to be a notice.
But they have to look on, they
But the
can just look
agendas don't
online
go out
every
right
Friday.
Look,
away.
No,
look,
no.
don't make
You're-
assumptions here.
I have a question.
You're expecting.
I think if you're gonna put a document out, you're gonna put a document that has a structure to it,
Okay.
okay? And
So-
not,
Like neighbor?
Notice to
What
official
it-
representative, and then it says electronic mail or, not and.
Yeah,
Or-
that's the only disagreement, is just the manner in which it's delivered, which is.
Are we
Look at the
going to
US
send
now.
it to
Well,
the,
just I think the
association
same
it
way we
belongs
get
in,
notice
to the
of what's
neighborhood?
happening next
if
month.
it's undeveloped, it's
That
not going
too.
to be in the boundaries?
No
of it.
jab
well,
intended.
again, if it's in the boundaries.
But that's why, if it's not in anybody's boundary, because it's not
If
developed
it's not in
yet,
anybody's boundaries,
so
then
then
you
nobody
don't.
receives it.
Right. This
Well,
would,
that's
this,
gonna be too difficult to highlight. You gotta send it to
No.
all the neighborhoods.
No,
No,
not all the
no,
neighborhoods,
no,
all
no,
the
no, no.
officially
Right, well, that's
recognized
what I mean,
neighborhood
yeah, that's what I
associations.
mean, by default.
if there is a
representative,
development
right.
coming in,
That's not in
and
anybody's
let's
boundary.
assume that there is an established neighborhood association, and there's a development coming into that one, yes, they need to be notified.
Yeah.
If the development is right outside of it, or bordering it, I would, as a courtesy, still send it.
That was my question. Are we
I
going to
would
send it
still
to
send it
to
because,
neighboring?
I would tell you,
You're gonna create-
you make a mistake of being overly inclusive in the notification, then if you have to ask, send them a notice.
I think if
I would just
it's,
send it to all the
Like, I
associations.
just want
I
to know how
agree.
we're going to
I agree
determine
with Raul.
who's going to be notified.
the only ones you're gonna send it to are the ones that are right
The
within.
representative for each.
No, I'm saying if it's not in a boundary, because it's undeveloped land, it's not in anybody's
If
boundary.
it's not in the neighborhood, okay,
But-
in
but-
that
But
association,
what if it's in the place of my business?
Yeah.
And I don't get notified?
what?
No, that's not my
What about the-
question.
No,
I'm
she's talking
saying
about,
like, if the boundary goes from here and the development is next door, but it's all undeveloped, so it's, nobody's
But
on
at
it.
this point, realistically.
Who gets notified?
I honestly would see this turning into something that you get noticed electronically and not in paper form. And I would see it turning into the exact same way we get notices of our P and Z agendas.
Yeah.
You just kick out the email to the same list of the same usual, like every association.
So we just send it to
Just
to
send it
everybody?
to
I think
all
send
of
to
them.
all because they're gonna read through all of it, the agenda, and if it, they
If
wanna
it
get
applies,
involved, they
But
get
you
involved.
said the initial when
No.
we receive those applications.
Yeah.
So this is not initial. When we send the agendas, it's because, yeah, we're already.
The agendas, I
done.
think all the agendas should go to every association, just like
But
how.
you're not saying agendas, you're saying the applications.
Yeah, you said every time the initial, you want to bring
Oh,
people
that's,
into, so then it's not gonna happen because the agenda happens later on the process.
I guess I missed.
But here's where I'm
I'd
scared.
rather everybody, the same people get them.
Right,
But
I'm
do we-
scared
do
that
we send
you're gonna
out
task
agendas?
someone to do that, right? You're gonna task someone to look at the agenda, oh, let me see if it's in the boundary map.
Yeah, that's
And if I
what,
make a mistake, then it's on me.
Yeah.
that's what I'm asking.
So just send it
On the
to.
agenda, on the agenda for our meetings or for whatever, just send them to all of them.
That was my question, is there specifics who we're going to be sending it
Yeah, you're
to?
gonna, and then how are you gonna sort those emails? Oh, I gotta go in and.
Might be that you guys are talking about notifying whenever we receive an application, which could be the 10 days prior to the agenda. But if we're gonna send it a few days before, then it's not gonna make the 10 days.
No, it's
We
kind
send
of,
out the
We send
agenda
out
the
the
week
packets
of.
only a few days before. But if we're gonna send a 10-day notice,
Oh, we know how short.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying, okay, normally you give us like a 3-day notice.
Yeah.
is it gonna be a few days when the agenda's ready?
They're
or
not
is it
gonna
be
meet,
10
because
days
there's,
prior?
it's a two-pronged, Erasmo, it's a two-pronged thing. Is that one goes in when the first application's made, it goes to specifically to that area. And then the second one is when it's about to get, when we have our meetings,
We get the.
everybody gets them, but we always get them 3 days. We get them the Monday before the meeting,
Or
So when
Friday.
the application
or
comes in,
Friday. Sometimes when you guys are on the ball.
Oh my God, you have no.
so when the application comes
Come
in,
on,
they
we
just
don't-
send it to that
there's no
designated
need.
area.
I think when the application comes out,
When the
at that
application.
point, just
Send it to everyone.
everybody.
Items
Do-
change.
Because otherwise, it's gonna be very difficult for you guys.
I'm
But another
joking.
issue
I
is,
know.
what if,
I'm
You're
not-
terrible
I'm not
community
saying
development,
Raúl
let's
saying
say,
it.
they're gonna manage this. What if some associations become inactive or new ones become active and we don't have,
Well, this
Well,
is,
that's a part of the application.
this is why I was saying that
that miscommunication happens
it,
all the time?
I know, that, I mean, I've worked for city government, so I know how the whole thing works. And that's why, but at this point, I don't have a better solution than saying, you know what? We notified an association that is inactive. It's okay.
You notified.
You know, no biggie, okay? The biggie would be where we didn't notify somebody who may have just come in. But then again, that's gonna become an issue of, you know, making sure that we have community development or whoever that permit officer or permit person is, and ensuring that they are constantly updating a web page that goes to you guys.
My other concern is, we don't actually have, I mean, we do have a deadline for submittals, but we have applications coming in and out before and after then. So would we just be sending emails as soon as we get an application, or would it?
No,
Well,
the only time you would, and I mean, the way I'm envisioning, the only possible way this can be done is when an agenda item is ready, because then,
It's not ready until a week before.
that's what I'm saying, when the agenda is ready to be posted, okay?
We publish it on Friday,
That's when
Before
the
the
agenda gets posted.
6 days.
At that point in time is when everybody should get an email.
Okay.
Or
The
shortly after that.
10-day rule needs to be taken.
The 10-day rule cannot work for you guys because it's a monster. It's a monster, it's not gonna work. The only way it can work is if you post an agenda, now the agenda's
But,
finalized.
The 10-day rule applies to, because they're two different things, and they're combining them into one. They're two different things. The first one, the 10-day rule is, we get an application for a land use. On the application status, we gotta notify them within 10 days.
Which that is,
That's fine.
that's done.
Part two is, the second one is when there's a decision or a vote being held on something that may affect you. Okay,
What their process.
just immediately, like,
Well,
that's,
when we get, that's why I said, when the agenda gets posted for the Planning and Zoning
yeah,
Commission,
para todos.
at that point in time, everybody gets notified.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it any other way. It wouldn't work.
So just 72 hours before.
It would just be, we could put the language in that says when the agenda's posted, as soon as the agenda's posted, then after that, the notifications go out.
Okay.
Okay? Because the 10-day rule it just wouldn't work. It would just,
So
it's gonna overwhelm you if this thing really mushrooms.
it's gonna overwhelm community development.
I'm sorry?
Not us, them.
Right? It's gonna overwhelm community development.
Well, again, we're making an assumption that it's gonna mushroom immediately. I see this taking off slow. It just depends on how quickly, whatever, well, first of all, we're making an assumption that it does pass, okay? Once it
It
passes,
would be ideal, get us budget and we can do it. I mean, the information
just
is
the
gonna
budget,
be
but get us
within our
employees.
department, but we
Yeah.
don't have the staff for that.
We need the staff.
How much money do y'all need?
It's not just the money,
Yeah,
it's
but
about
check.
actually having the personnel for it. If we don't have the
That's
staff.
plenty though.
I think at this point,
I know a guy.
let's, and I don't know, like I said, community development was a natural because he needs input from neighborhoods, so they would definitely have staff that would go out to the neighborhoods and try to get this thing going.
But this
You
part
guys
applies
don't
to
have it.
planning, though.
We were gonna have a bunch of the information that they're gonna need, that's not the question. The thing is, we don't have the staff.
No, you guys will have to send it.
Hey, why is it that
No.
Nathan disappeared?
No, you will.
We're gonna send the
It's in
electronic,
another meeting.
Yeah, you just add their email.
Oh, today's meeting.
but we're gonna rely on
department
that
meeting
other
or-
department to be
That's something
updating
else he
the
told me at the-
information,
at the
and that's
end, I
where the
mean.
discrepancy
Right.
happens.
Right,
most
okay.
of the time.
I think we're close to being done. I have to go,
Okay,
so
hold
I can
on.
break one.
There's
Or
a
can I
Future
break,
of
can
the
I break?
city- No, we gotta.
There's
we're
just
voting on this.
a couple more sections.
I know.
2 more minutes. 5 Flores minutes.
No, 2 real people minutes.
Okay.
Because 22.102080
Oh, no, that's it.
is
We're done.
irrelevant.
There's one more page left.
The other one's pretty much irrelevant. And then we can deal with the last one some point in time later, or we?
Why don't we do
Okay,
this? Why don't we
so-
just why don't you guys come up with the first draft? Now that we've given you our edits.
Okay, do we want to delete section .080?
I'm sorry, which one?
Neighborhood Association Coalition?
Services available?
To the Neighborhood
Yeah,
Association
yes,
Coalition?
yes,
Delete that?
yes. No coalition, there's no coalition.
Yeah.
Remember back in the definitions, we deleted coalition?
We didn't get to that point yet, Erasmo.
Yes.
Like that group
Over here?
doesn't
Well, we did
exist.
define it at the beginning.
Yeah, but we deleted it.
We deleted
Coalition, we deleted coalition.
Yeah.
So then what they're saying is come back over here to page.
Yeah, no, I said, yeah, take it out. I mean,
Yeah, so we're taking out
I already
everything
defined it.
And then land use application notice. But that we already have.
Yeah.
Let's take that out. I don't want to add more to it.
That's
Just too
redundant.
much.
Let's just take
Okay.
that out.
Boundary dispute resolution,
Let's take that out
That's the
too.
one where if they're overlapping boundaries, they either decide or the city decides for them.
I think we need to leave it in
Okay.
because
It makes sense.
we need to have somebody make that decision.
Okay, guys.
Okay, so then,
Make a recommendation that it be brought back to us in a rough draft form by next meeting or whenever.
well, I don't know if they're gonna make it by the next meeting. I mean, I don't know how, what their workloads
When is our
are.
next meeting?
Thursday.
Oh, no,
No, we did leave it
the
that.
following.
We did leave that section.
Can you all bring
Let
this
me
back
ask you
to
a
us?
question, guys. How long do you think it would take you to give us a draft? Like a week or two, or I know we have a meeting Thursday.
We've already posted for the meeting.
No, it can't be this Thursday
Yeah.
because, I mean, you have to come up and do the draft. What do you
We
think
can
it'll,
try to put it on for the next week.
about 10 days to do a draft?
You want to have another special meeting for it?
No, no.
Or
How long
just
can
have
you,
it for the next?
how long would it take you to get a draft to us? Not for a meeting at this point, just to draft it so that we can kind of
So
look
you
at
can
it
look it over?
and mark it up.
Let's send it to Carlos first so he
A
can,
lot of pressure.
Do you want me to do the draft?
yes,
If you'd like, I already have it in a Word document. I can send you that.
Yeah, I'll do the draft. I'm happy to do the draft.
yes.
All right.
I mean, that would help them
Anything to help the
because
city planning department.
they're maxed out,
Just
they're
make sure
maxed
that all
out
the
with work.
changes are in red, and if you scratch things out, that you,
Let's,
Salute.
you're familiar with how to use Word, right, sir?
so that we can know.
Microsoft?
No.
Okay.
Okay, well then, let's do
Yes,
that.
assistants that
Let's
do
go
that.
ahead and, let's do that. Carlos Flores will we'll do a draft and send it into the,
You just send me, can I have your notes? Or will you send me a copy of your notes?
and then, from there, we're good to go. Motion
Make a
to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.